Soldier recommended for dismissal.
The officer has been dealt with.
Tourism Minister concludes Apec discussions.
Papua New Guinea is on top of that.
And city gears up for World Environment Day.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Saturday's news. The Papua New Guinea Defence Force has released a statement suggesting the dismissal of the soldier who allegedly assaulted a medical doctor in Port Moresby last month. PNGDF Chief of Staff Captain Philip Polewara says the individual soldier has been identified and the commander of the unit he is in has recommended his dismissal.
The recommendation for dismissal comes after the National Doctors Association called on PNGDF to discipline the soldier accused of assaulting Dr. Dean Waimbari last month. On May 22nd, a joint conference held by the National Doctors Association and PNGDF laid out a list of demands the NDA members listed as petitions. The priority was for the soldier to be arrested, charged and prosecuted.
And if things doesn't come out clearly and if the guy is not apprehended, put to the charges, put him to the jail and then take him to the court. If those things does not happen, then we will stop work.
This incident involves the assault of Dr. Waimbari in May outside the house of another doctor in Moresby Northwest. Based on initial police reports, the identified soldier, who was reported drunk, approached the doctor and assaulted him.
The Papua New Guinea Defence Force Headquarters is aware of the incident that took place on Saturday 19th of May 2018 at North Waigani suburb in Port Moresby between Dr. Dean Waimbari and a serving member.
What provoked the assault is still under police investigations, but from the assault, Dr. Waimbari had sustained injuries to his left ear and head.
The force is concerned about the behavior of its service personnel and an immediate investigation is underway in collaboration with the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary and all other stakeholders.
The matter was reported to the Waigani police station where initial arrests were made. Based on reports submitted to the PNGDF, the commander, Gilbert Toropo, has recommended the dismissal of the soldier.
The officer has been dealt with and the commander has confirmed the punishment of dismissal from the force.
Takla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The 10th APEC Tourism Ministers meeting concluded in Port Moresby with a positive note going forward. This follows the endorsement of the APEC tourism guidelines that were agreed upon by at least 16 APEC member countries.
The APEC Tourism Ministers meeting was chaired by Papua New Guinea as the host through the Tourism Promotion Authority. The week-long discussions now place Papua New Guinea's tourism policy agendas at a level where all APEC economies can use for wellness tourism. From the ministers' discussions yesterday, fostering community-oriented tourism and the effects of transformative technologies were two of the four agendas deliberated on.
As host minister, I am also proud to announce that we have been able to endorse this 10th Tourism Ministers meeting, the APEC guidelines for tourism, stakeholders, and how fellow ministers plan to use the guidelines in their economies moving forward. The guidelines fall in the categories of tourism investors, community-based tourism, food and beverage sector, accommodation sector, tour operators, non-government organizations, and shared economy.
Under the headline Fostering Community Tourism, the APEC economies have agreed on promoting opportunities for women, youths, and those living with special needs. In promoting the Apec Leaders Summit theme for 2018, the Tourism Ministers Conference had discussions on using the digital platform to promote tourism, something that is new to PNG but is viewed by developed economies as a more reliable way for accountability.
Because it's a new industry, there's a lot of things that we need to overcome. And by Papua New Guinea being an integral part of such meetings, and APEC is one example of that, we try to learn from the best practice during such meetings. Others share their experience. We learn from that, and also our domestic issues and things like that that we need to think of. So Papua New Guinea is on top of that.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
This week saw Port Moresby host the 10th APEC Tourism Ministers meeting. Australian Assistant Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment Mark Horton was in the country attending the ministers' meeting and said the meeting allowed discussions between APEC counterparts on how they can work together to advance sustainable tourism in the Asia-Pacific region. The APEC economies are also a significant source of tourists for Australia, comprising around 70% of the country's short-term visitors. Assistant Minister Horton said that in addition to the economic returns generated, tourism plays a key role in strengthening people-to-people links within the region. The minister also met with PNG Tourism Minister Emil Tamur and visited the Bomana War Cemetery. The traditional landowners of Rabaul Town have agreed to put an end to the extra fees that are charged on every visiting tourist who visits the hot spring and Mount Tavurvur tourist sites. This comes following negations between the landowners and the Provincial Tourism Authority over the usage of their customary land as tourist hotspots. But the move made by the landowners didn't go down well with other factions of the landowning group who want to continue collecting fees from every visitor.
The Tobebe Tovalingan Ratagul ILG is a registered incorporated landowner group that represents the traditional landowners of Rabaul Town. In the last 2 weeks, they have been under intense discussions and planning to put an end to the extra fees that are charged on foreign tourists who visit the Hot Spring and Mount Tavurvur sites. The Hot Spring is located at the foot of the menacing Tavurvur volcano that attracts more than 400 tourists every time a tourist ship berths in Rabaul. In the last 10 years, every individual, including tourists who want to visit the area, has to pay a fee of 5 kina before entering the sites. But today, senior leaders of the ILG and village elders agreed to put an end to it, claiming it gives a bad impression to the tourism industry in the province and the country.
Only complain too much. Only talk about so collecting no good plan. So me now only putting Mr. Blomberg position all no trust me.
Today they gathered, taught the arts and removed the barricades that used to be a checkpoint where tourists are stopped to pay before entering. But that didn't go down well with Samuel Liata, who leads the other faction of the landowners who wants to continue collecting fees from every visitor.
Alright, all nabanan clean all the come inside.
The move made today ended up in an altercation with Master Liata, who claimed he was the owner of the area but wasn't included in the discussions.
You know silo me.
Me sabelo you.
No, you know silo you. Belum masuk ke kot na long. Kot na bay wag bisan usa turu bay apal slap na.
It is understood that tour operators are responsible for paying the landowners for bringing tourists onto their customary land, and the ILG group claimed charging an extra fee on what that has already been paid for is unnecessary. The ILG group says it wants to break the existing monopoly of the tourism market, where the legitimate custodians of the sites aren't benefiting at all. Since today, a line of division has been drawn between the ILG group and the opposing factions led by Master Liata. Master Liata says he will take the matter to court to find out who is the rightful owner of the area. But for now, this will be the first time in many years that visiting tourists will enter the Hot Spring and Tavurvur sites without paying any extra fees. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Chairman of Air Niugini, Sir Frederick Raiha, has announced that the national flag carrier Air Niugini has achieved its best on-time performance over the last 4 weeks in May. On-time performance is referred to as the time a flight arrives at its destination based on its estimated time of arrival. Sir Frederick said the average OTP for the month of May was 91%, not just the best ever for Air Niugini, but higher than all airlines in Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific region.
Chairman of Air Niugini, Sir Frederick Raiha, in a media release said that Air Niugini had also achieved 100% on-time performance for 7 days in the same 4-week period. He said it was a milestone in the history of the national flag carrier. He gave full credit to the management team and Air Niugini employees for delivering the best OTP outcome. The media release from Air Niugini comes after issues of overworked pilots and operational issues were raised in Parliament this week.
Heavy crewing on the 737 flights. Heavy crewing on the 737 is considered illegal in its current form by PNG CASA due to inadequate rest facilities that don't meet minimum requirements. But PX is rostering heavy crewing on the Bali flights PX 394 and the return flight 395, POM to Bali, 4 times a month. Mr. Speaker, the list goes on. And in all these examples, one thing is common and significant. One thing is common: a significant lowering of the safety standard in Air Niugini, and if left unchecked, can only lead to disaster.
Sir Frederick said several months ago the airline experienced a series of issues requiring the cancellations and merger of some services that brought about a shortage of pilots for the Fokker aircraft fleet. He said the pilot shortage is not only happening to Air Niugini but to other international airlines like Qantas, and it will continue to be a challenge for all airlines as the international demand for jet aircraft pilots remain very high. But Air Niugini says they are taking measures due to the shortage by recruiting and training more pilots and making changes to their schedules without reducing the effectiveness of the service. Sir Frederick said they will continue to improve services they are providing. Adelaide Sirax-Kari, National EMTV News.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission have given authorization for Air Niugini to enter into a code-share agreement with Fiji Airways on Port Moresby to Nadi route via Honiara. ICCC Commissioner Polisine said that on the 14th of December last year, ICCC received an application for the authorization. He said that ICCC considered the principal market and determined that opening a Port Moresby route to Nadi would have some competitive pressure on the Australia-Nadi route. Currently, only Air Niugini is servicing the Port Moresby-Nadi via Honiara. ICCC believes this code-share arrangement would provide an opportunity for another carrier in Fiji Airways to enter the market through partnering with Air Niugini and eventually grow its market share on the route, and may enter into a more competitive form of code-share arrangement or enter the market as an independent carrier. You're with National EMTV News. We'll have more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back. City residents this morning gathered at 4 Mile with their cleaning tools to join the NCD Governor Poes Pakop and the NCDC team to participate in a cleanathon as a lead-up to World Environment Day next week Tuesday. The cleanathon started from Boroko all the way to Gordon's. NCD Governor Poes Pakop used the occasion to create awareness on a clean and safe Port Moresby city.
Look at the city now, by city look at you.
On the 5th of June, the world will commemorate the Environment Day. For some Port Moresby residents, preparations have started today as they gathered at Boroko this morning with their rakes, spades, knives and brooms for a cleanathon organized by National Capital District Commission. Members of NCDC, City Manager and the NCD Governor also took part in the cleanup.
Not for tourists, but for you and me. We keep it clean for us best.
PACOP used the occasion to do awareness at Boroko and Gordon's bus stops and along the markets to stress on the importance of a safe and clean city.
Live as normal people, free people, able to do what you can do. When you can something good but thinking is stable you must pursue him and achieve him. But city dirty, city safe. And how about you come up full human being realizing potential for you?
He stressed that being responsible and respecting one another and the environment will lead to a happy, safe and clean community, which he hopes to achieve for Port Moresby.
Now, making you money for clean up for today, it will not change the equation or sensitivity. Today, I like you start long. Take responsibility, ownership, respect. We have to start doing it now. That's why we make a big statement. Because me spending me go. I mean, not make a difference. The only way is people you must start to take ownership, take responsibility, respect yourself, respect your community, respect your city, and by change to come up.
The Commission's activities will continue to tomorrow, with the regular Walk for Life to be converted to Walk for Our Environment, the source of our life, with the theme for this year's Environment Day, Beating Plastic Pollution. Stacey Yellow, National EMTV News.
Over 300 staff and students from the International Training Institute gathered this morning to do a city cleanathon. This event is also simultaneously done in 9 other campuses around the country. ITI plans to make this an annual event and encouraging the community to have a clean environment which supports healthy living.
Staff and students of International Training Institute gathered this morning for their cleanathon event in support of World Environment Day. This is the first of its kind for the Institute, with the theme as Clean Environment, Healthy Lives. ITI Executive Manager Sivanathan Sivaruben says this will now be an annual event for the Institute.
Environment Day is coming up for the 5th of June. So in order to celebrate that one, we are in advancing to clean the NCDC and other part of the country. So as a part,
this event saw over 300 students participating to help clean the city. The different teams were placed in Boroko, Koki and Badili.
This is part of our social obligation to the community. We like to give back to the community by helping them in little things like picking up rubbish, and there are other things that we also have, but for this one we actually picking up, we're getting students and staff involved in cleaning the environment.
ITI student Johnny Boy hopes that what they are doing will be an example to other citizens to keep the city clean.
We are influencing some of the students like us, because when we, as they level the cleaning the rubbish and look after the city, they can get some example and get some picture from us, and using the heads in not throwing the rubbish everywhere, but throwing at the right place.
This event was done simultaneously in the other 9 campuses around the nation. Lilian Sopera Kinea, National EMTV News.
Port Moresby Nature Park hosted its 6th Environment Day celebration today. The celebration saw corporate houses, including PNG Forestry, celebrate and educate the public on people's contribution to looking after the environment.
It was all fun and games at Port Moresby Nature Park today as families, corporate bodies and government organizations came together to celebrate the Environment Day.
As they're coming out, please give them a hand.
General Manager of Port Moresby Nature Park, Michelle McGeorge, says education is one key aspect and more should be done at education institutions and public places to educate people on environment and conservation. She says awareness on factors and issues associated to the contamination of the environment, one should be taught on how they can look after their environment.
This is what the Nature Park's all about. We're about promoting the protection of PNG's biodiversity, and one way to start that is to be more green and to really look at what we do as humans on the planet, and to think about how we can be more responsible guardians of this planet.
McGeorge says Port Moresby Nature Park started cutting down on the use of its electricity and water as part of its contribution to looking after the environment.
We've cut back our water usage by 30%, which is the equivalent of filling the Tarama swimming pool 3 times. And we've done that by really simple things like utilising rainwater and then using that water to flush our toilets for the public. We've also looked at how we water our gardens and what time we water the gardens and, utilising bore water. And then we went and looked at our electricity usage and had a look at what kind of lights we use. So we actually replaced 125 lights in the nature park, including all of our external security lights with energy efficient LED lights, which we've seen a massive reduction straight away in our electricity bills.
But is the environment all about plants and animals? Special Project Coordinator from Say No to Plastic Bags, Roberto Leo says the environment is polluted in many ways, one of which we tend to do every day, which is the use of plastic bags that contribute to environment contamination.
We talk about it all year long, but today everyone is focused on the issue of plastic. This is our time when our voice is its loudest and everyone can hear us. Yes.
With recent reports on plastic ban by the government, Roberto says people should learn to say no to plastic bags as it isn't really a need.
So the main thing we ask people to do is to say no. When you go to a shop and you're only buying a can of Coke, they straight away put it in a bag. They don't ask you if you need one. And most of the time you're going to drink it right away. We ask people to say no. Don't use the plastic if you don't need it. Number 2, bring your own bag. Bring a bilum, bring your backpack. Anything, yeah, but try to refrain from plastic. That's it.
Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
Still on Environment Day, as International Training Institute students and staff gathered for their cleanathon, different institutions also gathered this morning to clean the city and pick up trash. Students from Kumal Training Institute were seen at Jack Pittick Park in numbers. Moresby South TVET Scholarship Coordinator Rose Agua says they are supporting NCD Governor Poas Pakop's initiative in a lead-up to the World Environment Day.
So violence in a safe and clean city, we want to feel at home and own our city. Our city is our home. That's why all the students have decided, institutions have decided to support governor's initiative of cleaning up one day today to commemorate the World Environment Day.
The Asian Development Bank Board of Directors has approved a total financing package of $195 million towards effective essential health services in Papua New Guinea. According to ADB findings, despite a period of high economic growth in recent years, PNG's healthcare services continue to deteriorate because of an inconsistency in funding and poor management. The financial package is expected to help PNG achieve universal health coverage.
ADB findings have shown that in recent years, PNG's economy has increased at an average of 6% annually from 2006 to 2015. However, PNG's health sector service delivery has seen little to no improvement. ADB reports reveal that life expectancy in the country relative to income is low at 65 years. Chronic diseases including stroke and heart disease, together with conditions associated with poverty like pneumonia and neonatal conditions, rank highest in diseases plaguing the nation. Furthermore, PNG failed to achieve its targets for the Millennium Development Goals on maternal and child health. ADB health specialist for the Pacific, Inez Michelson-Lopez, stated that PNG's poor health outcomes are the result of deteriorating healthcare services caused by inconsistency in funding and weak management systems. ADB says it aims to support critical sector reforms and investments in PNG towards long-term sustainability under its Health Service Sector Development Program. This includes the implementation of a public health model that links primary and secondary health facilities in rural areas to improve patient health outcomes. The program will also focus on training staff at the sub-national level to operate independently. Plans to rehabilitate rural healthcare infrastructure, improve availability of medical supplies, supporting new health partnerships, and using smart technology to support digital information systems are also in the pipeline. Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
PNG's public curator Jacob Popuna says there needs to be more awareness done to Papua New Guineans about the processes involved in claiming entitlements. Mr. Popuna said this is one of the challenges the office faces when dealing with beneficiaries around the country. The public curator's office deals with the cash and property estates of deceased persons and is responsible for granting these estates to beneficiaries. To date, there are nearly 2,000 registered cases around the country that the curator's office is still working on to release the entitlements.
Like the entitlements, the process and procedures, how much they're entitled to. Awareness is the thing that we have it on our work plan, but funding has been our constraint. So we were unable to roll out the awareness program. Awareness is the thing that caused problem for both our office and then the widows and the children.
Houseplace hosted its two-day annual real estate show at Sir John Guise Stadium, showcasing where real estate agencies, developers, financial institutions and stakeholders in the property industry all under one roof. Houseplace General Manager Tom Snelling says they have worked hard to make the 2018 show bigger and better.
Over 1,000 individuals in NCD had the chance to access information on the property industry yesterday and today. Houseplace, through its annual real estate show, brought real estate agencies, developers, financial institutions, and stakeholders all under one roof.
Although it's in the same place, the whole place here is now dedicated to the expo, and the seminar area is through in the foyer. So we don't get that noise pollution and we've got more variety for our visitors.
Strickland Real Estate Senior Sales Consultant Ruby Owala told MTV News the importance of buying or leasing property through accredited real estate entities.
A renowned real estate, a notable real estate, because you will be comfortable knowing that your security bond, your requirements for renting will be taken care of.
She also mentioned how prices are set and calculated for properties, whether one is buying, selling, renting or leasing.
The price is based on the location, the status of the property and the current market value. So if we think that the market has gone down, landlords tend to think of that and bring the property, bring the rate down if we think that the property needs, the price needs to come down on that property. Otherwise, if we think that the property is good and although the market is coming down, but we think that the price is right for that property, we keep to that price.
Century 21 Property Sales Associate Tayson Gordon advised that now is the best time for investors or individuals to purchase property.
The vendor and the landlord decide. It's a free market. You know, somebody brings a property in and wants to rent it for a certain amount of money or sell it for a certain amount of money, then we as the agent, we advise them that the market is like this and the price, demand is there. But there again, it comes back to the landlord or the vendor to decide. It's just your property and there's no regulation there.
In PNG, the property industry is not regulated. Gordon says that it is a good thing, which gives sellers and buyers a good market to work with.
No, if they do, then it will suppress the investors from coming in. So let the market decide.
Lilian Soperakinea, National EMTV News.
You're with Saturday's news stories making headlines overseas after the break. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, an ISIS sympathizer in the UK has pleaded guilty for encouraging terrorists to target Prince George at school. He is to be sentenced at the end of June, but security experts warn the new interest in the British royal family comes with new risks.
An adorable 4-year-old, one of Britain's most loved royals. He's third in line to be king, and tonight there's increasing concern that he could be a terror target. Prince George, according to British authorities, recently attracted the interest of an ISIS sympathizer in Britain. Hussein Rashid just pleaded guilty to terrorism charges. British officials say Rashid, in an online campaign, encouraged jihadists to target the young prince.
When a terrorist says target, it oftentimes, in this case, to mean to kill. It could also mean to kidnap.
British officials say Rashid tried to offer terrorists a roadmap, publishing the address of Prince George's school. The royals are no strangers to high-profile terror threats. In 1979, Lord Mountbatten, Prince Charles's grand uncle and mentor, was assassinated by the IRA, a bomb destroying his yacht off the coast of Ireland.
The fact that a high-level royal was killed by a terrorist organization really upped the game for the IRA. It showed that they are a lethal, potent force. The fact that the IRA in subsequent years tried to kill Queen Elizabeth shows that they are a force to be reckoned with.
The royals have rarely, if ever, been more visible and valuable to Britain than they are right now. According to the business valuation firm Brand Finance, the British royal family generates over $2 billion for the UK economy every year. Analysts say this spring's royal wedding will only add to that.
We're already seeing strong growth, so 15%, over the last year, and we would like to use this occasion really to cement that growth. We can see good indications in forward bookings. Our American staff tell us that they can see that confidence in the market.
So for terrorists, especially a decimated group like ISIS, desperately in need of a propaganda score, the royals are an appealing target, even if the attack doesn't succeed.
The royal couples are some of the most telegenic, well-known British citizens in history right now. If you target this 4-year-old boy and you're ISIS, you can cause all kinds of mayhem in British society. You can cause folks to generate incredible amount of sympathy for your cause. And that's something that ISIS and their ISIS wannabes really want to do. They want to bring sympathy and they want to bring more recruits and more media splash to their cause.
Terrorism experts say there's an added security risk with these younger generations of the British royal family. Meghan Markle, Kate Middleton, and the princes, they say, are much more inclined to mingle with big crowds, to shake hands and hug people in large public gatherings. That risk is likely only to continue, they say, so the British security services have to be on top of it.
U.S. President Donald Trump is using his power to issue pardons in what could be a message to his allies in the Russian investigation. He quote, "If I think you've been treated unfairly by prosecutors, I can get you off the hook."
President Trump sending more signals than ever today. He's in a pardoning mood. Out of the blue, the president announcing a full-scale pardon for conservative author and filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza, who's perhaps best known for his conspiracy theories about former President Barack Obama. Flying to Houston, the president telling reporters on Air Force One, "I called him last night. First time I've ever spoken to him. I said, I'm pardoning you. Nobody asked me to do it. I've always felt he was very unfairly treated." D'Souza pleaded guilty in 2014 to violating federal campaign finance laws by illegally asking 2 women, an employee and a woman with whom he was romantically involved, to donate $20,000 to the campaign of an old college friend running against Senator Kirsten Gillibrand in New York. He told them he would reimburse them. The president described those charges today as a quick minor fine, like everybody else with the election stuff. It's that election stuff, specifically Russian meddling and the special counsel's probe, that seems to be weighing on Trump's mind. He's flexing his presidential powers as his own fight escalates with the Justice Department. The president talking openly about the possibility of even more pardons for Martha Stewart and a commutation for former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, in what could be a signal to the president's friends caught up in the Russia investigation.
I'm here with Donald and Melania Trump, and we're going to make a scrumptious meatloaf sandwich, which is Donald's favorite sandwich, according to Melania. Is that true?
It's very good. Stewart, convicted of conspiracy and obstruction of justice in a securities fraud case, is an old friend of Trump's, even though she told CNN in 2016 he shouldn't be president.
I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. We just can't have a country run by someone who is totally unprepared
for what comes.
But a possible pardon for Stewart could also be a way to settle scores with the prosecutor in the case, James Comey. That's the same James Comey the president fired last year as FBI director. And Blagojevich also has ties to Trump, seen here as a contestant on The Apprentice.
So, Governor, you have a hell of a lot of guts, I have to tell you that. I have friends where things have happened to them. They crawl into a corner, they die. You're out there punching, so I respect that.
I appreciate that.
Blagojevich, a former Illinois governor convicted of abusing the powers of his office, was sentenced to 14 years in prison in 2011.
Now, from a federal prison, Rod Blagojevich wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week saying that he believes that the Justice Department is corrupt, and if they can't prove a crime, they create one. Now, all of this is coming as he and others are trying to get the president's attention here, trying to use their cases to prove that the Justice Department simply is not always fair. But in the president's mind, all of these cases revolve around James Comey. His ongoing feud with Comey, of course, after firing him more than a year ago, still front and center in the Russia investigation and potential obstruction of justice.
A secluded bay made famous by Leonardo DiCaprio's film The Beach has now been made out of bounds. Thailand authorities have had to shut down Maya Bay because of the influx of thousands of tourists, which has damaged the idyllic location.
One last photo, one last chance for hundreds of tourists to visit Maya Bay before its white beach is closed for 4 months. It's been nearly 2 decades since this small island bay was made famous by The Beach, a film with a dark plot and a beautiful setting. Since then, a daily flotilla of tourist boats have brought thousands of visitors, all in search of an unspoiled Thai paradise. Most of them instead leaving with a collection of selfies on a less than deserted beach.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. But it's kind of sad though at the same time to know that they're closing because tourists have spent so much time here and kind of ruined the natural life.
The beach is being put out of bounds to give its coral reef and sea life a chance to recover after years of unrestricted tourism.
In the past, we will make some mistake because we think that money is very important. But now we are trying to change our idea. But the most important thing is our natural resource that we have to preserve.
Tomorrow, I will travel.
Actress Zelda Tinska lived on the beach for 4 months while they made the film, but thinks tourists won't stop flocking there in future.
To be honest, I think that we have become a society which is obsessed with fame and celebrities, and I think that people go there for wrong reasons. They go there because the film was filmed, not because that's necessarily a location they want to see, because Thailand is such a beautiful country that there is many other beaches which is as amazing as that one.
Maya Bay now joins a number of other Thai islands where mass tourism is restricted, becoming until October a deserted paradise once again.
Don't go away, Chukai Sports coming up next.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Two weightlifting Indian sports journalist and commentator Prathana Hazarika told EMTV Sports that it was a sad day for Indian sport fans following the turn of events 2 days ago when news of Indian weightlifter Sanjita Chanu Kumukcham broke out. This time the Commonwealth Games gold medalist made headlines for the wrong reason.
India's 53 kg weightlifter Sanjita Chanu Kumukham's doping test results came back positive of adverse analytical finding for testosterone. The test, which was done out of competition prior to World Championships in US last November, was made known on May 15th, after she had already competed at the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games in April this year, where she broke the Games record and won gold, making PNG's Dikatoa settle for silver. Consequently, the 24-year-old has been temporarily suspended by the International Weightlifting Federation as investigations continue.
On that particular day, I was there covering her game,
and in fact exclusively spoke to her. She said she was in fact not well. She was not keeping well for the last couple of months, but again she tried to give in her best shot, and she won gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. And when you get such a news, that's obviously really sad and very frustrating for sports lovers.
As India weightlifting await her B sample to go through testing, ties with Sanjita Chanu has been cut off.
And in fact, she was at the national camp, practicing and was going through a lot of training. She has been asked by the Indian Weightlifting Federation to just cut off her association with the national camp as of now and go back to her home, which is Manipur at the northeastern part of India. So that's the latest that's coming in from the Indian Weightlifting Federation.
Though at this stage, Indian weightlifting officials do not have much to say, but it appears they believe in her innocence.
I tried to speak to a lot of officials of that federation, and they said they have nothing else to say, but again they are very confident that Sanjita Chanu is such a hard-working, dedicated weightlifter. She's an athlete. She can never, take dope, or she will never take any banned substance. So that's going to be really interesting, because her A sample have been tested positive. Her B samples will be sent now for test.
Sanjita herself has not addressed the Indian press since the news broke.
Yes, she's not trying to communicate with any of the media person, not anyone from the press. So yes, that's really sad, and if her B sample also comes up positive, then she may face a ban of at least 4 years. And remember, she is someone who has always, made the Indians proud at the international circuit. But again, the federation will try to be very hard on the athlete if they have taken some sort of banned substance.
And as the only sports journalist and commentator from the northeastern part of India, Pratana Hazarika herself is hoping this works out well for Sanjita.
As a sports journalist, I am really feeling sad about the fact that this women athlete who has fought from all kind of difficulties, coming from a very poor background and then making it to the top level. Yes, this is something really sad. So let's wait and watch. We'll have to wait and watch. And according to some of Sanjita's close associates, they said that they are very sure that Sanjita has not taken any banned drugs.
On the other hand, Papua New Guinea will have another Gold Coast Commonwealth Games gold to celebrate if Sanjita's B samples turn up positive, as she will have to forfeit the gold to Dikatoa. And if so, deja vu of Glasgow 2014 for Dikatoa. Dinero Srako, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. In swimming, PNG Swimming Incorporated has started its preparations to host the 12th FINA Oceania Swimming Championships. A total of 16 countries will participate in the event, including PNG, and it's expected to bring together around 300 overseas athletes, officials and spectators. The event will be held in Port Moresby this month at the Tarama Aquatic Centre.
PNG Swimming Inc. will be hosting the 12th Oceania Championships from the 25th to 30th June 2018 in Port Moresby, in cooperation with PNG Sports Foundation. It will be the 12th edition of the FINA Sanctioned Championships that runs every 2 years under the direction of Oceania Swimming Association. The pool competition will take place at the Tarama Aquatic Centre over 4 days from 26 to 29 June, and the open water 5 km and 10 km event at the Fairfax Harbour Naval Base. The 5 km open water swim will be on the 25th of June and the 10 km open water swim held on the 30th of June. The aim of the PNG Swimming Inc. is to host a well-run international competition for the 16 countries affiliated to Oceania Swimming Association who will attend, bringing with them approximately 240 people to Port Moresby. The Papua New Guinean swimming team will be made up of 24 swimmers from Ley Amateur Swimming Club and Boroko Amateur Swimming Club. Meanwhile, the 2018 annual general meeting will be held on June 25th in Port Moresby at the Turama Aquatic VIP Lounge before the pool competition starts. Oceania Swimming Association has been given the approval from FINA that the 12th Oceania Championships will be a qualifying competition for 2018 Youth Olympics and 2019 FINA World Championships. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. Up next, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast in the Highlands region. All across the region, mostly fine, then morning fog in.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that has been the news, sports and weather this Saturday, the 2nd of June 2018. On behalf of the news team, I'm Helen Seah. Pleasant viewing and good night.